Okay, you guys, welcome back. It is November 1st. It is getting so chilly outside, and we are about to have our first big frost tonight. So we thought what we would do today is take you through for a full update of how our garden is doing, how our compost is doing. If you guys have been tracking with us, we planted everything around mid-September, probably the 13th or 14th. We started our compost about 2 weeks earlier than that, and all of our neighbors thought we were crazy. They thought it was way too late to be planting anything, and I'm not sure how much you can see right now, but we are having pretty incredible results. We're also gonna do our first harvest. We are harvesting some of our kale and our Redfire lettuce, and we're actually gonna use that for a recipe that we're gonna film for you. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, you guys, so to start, here are our Oregon snow peas. If you guys saw, we made this little pea trellis, super cheap, $10. It took us 10 minutes. It's holding up so well. We have not had to add any structure, and we've had some pretty major windstorms blow through. So these are starting to flower, which is really exciting. I think we're gonna have some harvestables here pretty soon. And right here we have our Toscana kale. It looks absolutely amazing. If you look closely here, you can kind of see on the bottoms, our germination was pretty much 100%. We put 2 to 3 seeds in each mound, and you can tell by the sort of thicker, stockier stems here at the bottom that every single one of our seeds germinated. So we're gonna harvest a few of these today. We'll show you how to do that properly. What I'm so excited about is these guys right here. This is our purple kohlrabi, and these are just standard globe turnips. And what's amazing about this is even if none of these flower in time before it gets too cold, every single one of these greens are completely edible. So even just right now as it is, we have a huge harvest out of this, and it's incredible. We can eat every single thing here, which is really, really exciting. These did so well. But this first row, I mean, absolutely incredible. We had success the entire way down. Absolutely everything germinated and grew like crazy. Even in the middle of September, we now have a huge harvest. So for next year, if you get a jump on things a little late, don't worry. I mean, we did this even when everyone told us not to, and I'm so glad we did it anyways because we have so much food here. It's awesome. All right, so moving on to bed 2. Again, we can see here the really dramatic difference between our seed cells that we started inside. You can actually see that there's still cardboard here because these are biodegradable, and you're supposed to be able to just plant the cardboard into the ground and these will break down. I don't particularly see that happening, so I'm not sure how much I would trust the seed cells that break down, because here is our direct sow. These are Brussels sprouts. These aren't gonna be ready until January or February, so we still have a while here. But I am a little nervous to see that the seed cell containers aren't breaking down yet. And it does have me wondering if the stunted growth here is because it's not able to break out of the cardboard. And we did everything right here. We actually even kind of cut the cardboard open and tried to give a little opening without disturbing the roots too much. But this cardboard is fully intact, a little less biodegradable than we were anticipating. And again, just the difference between directly sowing into the ground and starting inside with seed cells for us in our climate has been pretty dramatic. We have our little carrots here. They're growing. These took a while to sprout. We got a little worried there because we weren't seeing anything in this bed for a really long time, but the little tops are doing well. Again, we've got a while for these to be ready. I think we'll see the little orange tops pop up when they're ready to harvest. This, we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. It's growing. This is our cabbage, and this was our biggest risk, actually. I know it doesn't look that way because these are huge, but they are somewhat frost sensitive, the ones that we got. So these might freeze out before they flower and mature. I don't know if cabbage leaves are tasty. We've never had them before. We eat a lot of turnip greens, but maybe we'll have to see if these are edible and give them a try. And moving on to our last bed, this was a weed that we let go way too far because this is where we planted a marjoram seed, and we hoped for a really long time that this was actually marjoram, and it's not. It's straight up weeds. So we haven't pulled it yet. I know we should. I'm so excited about our spinach. It's not quite large yet, but it's so gorgeous and glossy. I mean, this is truly the most beautiful spinach I've ever seen in my entire life. And now here is the star of our show. We are gonna harvest this today. This is the fire leaf lettuce, and this grew so fast and it all looks absolutely perfect. I have never seen such beautiful lettuce. We cannot wait to harvest this. It's just unbelievable how well it did. Again, full germination across the board. And this does really, really well in the winter. So this is gonna stay nice and strong and healthy. We have our rainbow chard here, which also looks really good. These actually require quite a bit of room, which is why we only have 2. These are spaced out with as much room as they need to grow. So we've only got these 2 bunches, but they're looking really healthy. And our last beauty down here is the spaghetti squash, which is growing like crazy. And we can kind of start to see the beginnings of some flowering. But again, this is a winter squash. We're probably not gonna get a harvest out of here for another month or 2, but it's looking absolutely fabulous right now, and we're really excited. I mean, that's it. That's the update on our garden. Everything absolutely took off, so we're really proud of the work that we put into these garden beds, and we're happy that we went ahead and did it, even though it was a little risky and on the edge of kind of nearing the end of summer, beginnings of fall, when it's considered a little too late. If we got nothing else other than what we have right now, I would consider this a huge success for our first ever garden. We're gonna go ahead and take you guys to the compost. We've been composting now for, gosh, 2-3 months, and that is also going really, really well. So let's go ahead and move on to that, and then we'll come back and harvest, and I'll show you guys how to harvest the kale and the lettuce, how to properly wash it straight from the garden. All right, so here's our composting bin. Hopefully most of you guys saw that video. This was $25 all in, and look at that. We have got so much that has completely broken down. This is about halfway full, and this is really all of our food waste, all of our eggshells, you know, all of the ends and stems of our veggies. We've got corn cobs in here. We've got lots of the paper bags that our produce that we buy from the farm comes in. And this is all just gonna be a ton of nourishment for our garden next year. I can't even move this. It's so, I can't lift it. Ugh! Again, we're really excited about this. And this too, you know, we started this at a weird time. We weren't really sure what was gonna come of it. But I would say when it comes to your compost bin, absolutely any day that you decide to start your compost bin, any time of year, it's the right time because it's gonna be ready at some point. So this will probably be ready for our spring garden. And that's a long time. Breaking down is gonna slow even more as it starts to get colder and freeze. But again, it was so worth it to start. And I urge you, if you're watching this on November 1st, start right now, start today. Go watch our compost bin video. And it's just incredible how much food is now not going in the trash and not being wasted, but instead turned into nutrients for next year's soil. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get our harvest going on this gorgeous fire leaf lettuce. And most lettuces, if you cut them the right way, they'll grow back. So what I'm trying to do here is just very gently find the kind of the base of where this is growing. I don't wanna, you know, tug and tear on it too much. This is a very tender, delicate lettuce. What I have here is an incredibly sharp chef's knife. Sharp, sharp, sharp. And I'm going really, really near the base, and I'm just cutting straight across. So here is all our lettuce. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And what you can see here that we've left intact really the entire root of the plant. So nothing is disturbed here, and we can regrow all of this. So this is just gonna stay put, and it should sprout leaves again and continue to grow. Okay, so I can see here's the root coming out. I'm going about an inch above, and just a sharp, clean cut across. So we've got 2 beautiful heads of lettuce harvested here. These are ready to eat, and we're just gonna let these guys come back to life in their own time. All right, so moving on to our Toscana kale. This is another cut and come again plant. So what we actually wanna do here is we wanna take some of the outer leaves from a couple different plants. This is not one where we just wanna slice off, you know, this whole situation. You wanna keep the middle growing and keep the middle flowering. So as you can see, this is one of the outers and this is one of the outers. I've got my sharp chef knife. You can see how easy that comes off. And I'm also, you know, kind of being conscious of the size, just because we have a recipe in mind for these. So these are basically, you know, more or less baby kale that we're harvesting right now. So they are going to get a lot bigger than this. But for today's purposes, for the little fall harvest pizza we're making, these are the perfect size. Look how beautiful that is. So we're gonna stop there. This is pretty much the right amount that we need. We're not gonna go overkill. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take these inside. I'm gonna get them washed and ready to go. Nick is gonna start prepping the garden for the frost that's coming in. It is already so cold. We were out here just a couple hours ago and it was nice and sunny and warm, and now it's freezing. So we need to get these babies covered and get this ready for dinner.
This frost snuck up on us fast. We were out of money and out of time, so we found some household items to keep our plants safe. We used pliers to take apart some wire hangers that were left in the closets by the previous homeowners and created arches to allow us to cover the plants with plastic drop cloths and bed sheets without clinging directly on the leaves. We were lucky enough to have our first freeze on the first day of daylight savings. So not only was it incredibly cold and incredibly windy, but the sun also went down an hour early, and we did not have the foresight to account for that.
When you get your lettuce from the grocery store, most likely it comes pre-washed, but if you're entering the world of harvesting fresh lettuce or buying fresh lettuce leaves from the market, you need to know how to wash them properly. And it's actually more about knocking off debris rather than spraying the leaves, which are really tender and delicate. So what you want to do is you want to fill a bowl with cold water, being careful not to spray the leaves directly, and just swish them around with your hand, drain the water, and then fill, swish, drain, fill, swish, drain, until all of the bugs and dirt are off your leaves and the water is clear. Once everything's clean, you can transfer to a colander, to clean towels, or a salad spinner. All right, it is the next morning after the frost, and looks like our spinach and our lettuces are doing really well. Our chard is looking healthy, but our spaghetti squash, you can see that it got hit by the frost. We must have not done a good enough job making sure that none of the leaves were gonna get touched here. All of our turnip greens and kohlrabi look amazing. Here's another set of squash. Our kale looks fabulous, and our peas look fabulous. So all in all, could have gone better, could have gone worse. There are our They look amazing. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Brush that off. Looks pretty good.
Oh my goodness. We grew this. We have had such an amazing time putting together our first garden and getting our first harvest, cooking with ingredients fresh from our backyard. And our next video, we're actually going to do a recipe for you guys using the Redfire lettuce and kale that you saw us harvest today. So be sure to like this video if you do in fact like the content, subscribe so you can see our future content, and we'll see you guys next time.